We were designed to accept the love of Jesus Christ. We were designed to feel that, and he gives it to us freely. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Uh, all of these other things, like, oh, you got to cast a circle, you got to do some salt, you got to do these stones, you got to
Or
get
pay
these.
for all these treatments, like pay for, I know you talk about Reiki a lot too, like
uh,
paying for these healing things. You don't have to pay for Jesus or for an encounter with the Holy Spirit. He gives us that freely.
Exactly. Reiki is such a big deception. And I mean, I'm so glad that I did Reiki. I did Reiki for 2 years.
Mhm.
It was kind of like, I went to Costa Rica and I went there, and I have always been someone that I call it the gift of prophecy now.
Mhm.
Back in the day, I would have said like intuitive or psychic
Yeah.
or whatever it is. But I've always had this gift. Like, I just had this feeling. I mean, and now I know that it was God trying to use me, but unfortunately, I was corrupted by the devil at such a young age that he
Yeah.
was using it. And I'll tell you, the devil gets into these young kids because he knows that once we turn to God, we are a force to be reckoned with, that there is going to be no stopping us, that we're going to be shouting to the world about God, about Jesus, and we're going to be exposing him. So that's why he gets into the, and people
Mhm.
say, oh, well, how come God allow this to happen, and all these terrible things to happen? Because God is choosing to use us.
Yeah.
And he had those things not happened to me, had I not went through that whole process of being in the new age, I wouldn't have the knowledge about it that I do today to
Yeah.
expose it. And as unfortunate as my upbringing was, I'm grateful because now I can be used by Jesus to reach all of these people who wouldn't normally, so many people, even yoga, they're like, oh, well, it's just stretching. It's not just stretching. If it
Right.
was stretching, you could just be stretching. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have to work on certain breathing, and you wouldn't have to get into these. You don't just fall into a pose. You have to put yourself into these
Yeah.
poses. You have
True.
to consciously think about what breathing technique that you're doing. You could just lie there and stretch. I mean, you could just, stretch and breathe and play some music. You don't have to fully submerse into what the yoga, and it's all spiritual. It's a Hindu form
Yeah.
of spirituality.
Yeah.
And I mean, the devil continues to deceive us by thinking that, yoga is good, that, oh, well, and especially with the Reiki, because so many Reiki practitioners like, oh, well, Jesus did laying of the hands. That's
Mhm.
what Reiki is. No, it's not. It is absolutely not. Jesus was God in human form. He had the powers of God. He was laying hands. He wasn't going around saying, I'm gonna do some Reiki. Oh, I can feel this, and oh, this in
Yeah.
your chakra. I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm like, where in the Bible does it say that Jesus did Reiki? This is a Japanese form of channeling demons. And
Mm.
once again, when you don't look into the origins of what you're doing, you're going to continue to be deceived.